how low will this dip on Bitcoin go? And when and where are good times for us to start getting back into the market? That's what we want to talk about today on Crypto Intel. My name is Max. Let's get started. So what I want to do first is just take a look at the CME futures chart on Bitcoin on the daily chart here, and just take a look at what happened. You can see that we had a nice move up before the ETF launch. That was the top here. And now we've been coming down since the ETF launch, largely because I think most investors and traders underestimated the amount of BTC that would be sold into the system from GTBC. And, you know, so that I think is one of the causes of this dip in Bitcoin. And you can see that we have dipped, I think, about 20% from top to bottom. About 22, that's a little bit, let's get exactly there. About 22% from top to bottom. And as I said in previous videos, I'm expecting that the dips this time around are not going to be in the 30 to 40% range, but they're going to be more in the 15 to 25% range, because the dips over the past 3 cycles have been shortening, have been made smaller. And that is what I expect will happen in this cycle too. And you can see that we did have a 20 to 25% dip, and now we're starting to move up again. And what's interesting is that we did fill the gap here on CME futures, and we usually do fill these kind of gaps if the price action stays around where the gap started or ended, I should say. So that to me is a sign that we're probably not going to go too much lower. Now, is it possible? Yeah, we can go down to the $32,000 level. That was the last big support line here, and that's certainly possible. But I think the probabilities are that we are going to be moving up from here. Now, why do I say that? Well, first of all, let's just take a look at what happened with the spot ETFs. And you can see here, the thing I want to turn your attention to is this line, this red line right here, which is the GBTC inflow, the selling of GTBC into the Bitcoin market. And you can see that on day 7, we were at minus 600. And for the past 3 or 4 days, we have been getting less and less sell-off. It's kind of starting to flatten off. And so I suspect that the people who are going to sell their GTBC we're already starting to see the last part of that. Because who's going to sell? The people that bought GBTC, 2-3 years ago, their capital gains is so high that it doesn't make sense for them to sell that, even though they're paying 1.5% premium on that, and the ETFs are charging maybe 0.25%. But they have a big enough capital gains that it isn't worth doing. So the only people that are really going to sell right now are those who are in tax-free accounts. They will sell, or those who got into GBTC just for the pump up into the ETFs. And I think, as the chart shows, that's starting to get smaller. Now, another thing that I think is pointing to Bitcoin starting to move a little bit more is if we look at just, you can see that there has been a downtrend. But if we really zoom out, let me just and look at where the price action is, we can see that this is really a parabola. It's moving in a way that is really a parabola. Let me just draw this out for you. Do I have that? Yeah, okay. You can see here like this. And we can see, since the lows back in, August we can see that Bitcoin touches the parabola, and where it touches, it has a jump up. You see, touches the parabola, jumps up, comes back here, touches the parabola, and now it's jumping up again. So this to me says that we are still on an upward trajectory, and we probably will be for the foreseeable future, at least for the next year or year and a half. Now, let's just take a look at some of the other trades. If we look at Ethereum, we can see that Ethereum against BTC has been dropping down lately. I suspect that it might level out here at this support line and then start to go back up. And this is reinforced by a couple of things. Number one is the problem with Celsius, the selling that Celsius did, and also FTX did with their GBTC trade is over now. Grayscale, like I said, that selling is coming to an end. The Bitcoin halving is coming up. So it looks like, and there is a lot of sentiment around the idea that a ETF for Ethereum could well happen around the May timeframe. So if that happens, there probably will be a run up in Ethereum. Up until that time, could be a sell-off in the news, just like what happened with Bitcoin. But again, it bodes well for the Ethereum narrative playing out as the next kind of big narrative. And if we take a look here, you can see that this is from Glassnode. The ETF markets have experienced a total trade volume of about 21 billion, surpassing the average 13 billion. And that is a pretty big level here. The derivatives market, after the ETF has been approved for Ethereum, is moving up. So people are placing bets. People who are in the know, people that use options, are placing bets that Ethereum is going to be the next major narrative to play out. It's not the only narrative, but it is going to be one of the narratives to play out. And you can see here that on the 3-day chart, Ethereum has hit support here, and it touched this as resistance 3 or 4 times in the past, and now it has touched it 1, 2, 3 times as support. So again, it looks like Ethereum is about to have the end of its move down and start to move up again. At least that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's get back to the charts here. Oops. All right. And, take a look at Solana. Solana looks like, again, that we've had a nice little, dip in Solana. But again, it seems to be moving up. It went right down to the support line at about, just about touched $75, and now it's starting to move up again. So again, it looks like the altcoins, if you look at something like here, this Render, which is another altcoin that I'm holding, again, it looks like it dipped down to the support line, and now it's moving up again. So in general, I think that the altcoins and Bitcoins are back on the road to moving up again. I don't think we're going to see a real big dip going forward. It's possible, but I think right now the probabilities are that both Bitcoin and some of the top altcoins are going to start moving up again. That's it for today. If you like the content, please give us a like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.